Hello there, and welcome to the impzonepod podcast. We're back again, talking more TNA wrestling shenanigans. And, we're back to do the things and updates on the Under Siege card. I will go through the minor changes first, I believe. That one minor change, I believe, is the match by elegance, no disqualification match for the Knockouts tag team titles. Also, Spitfire said this is like do or die for them. In a recent exclusive promo somewhere, I think on Twitter mostly, I think, but I'm sure it was put elsewhere. So there is that added stipulation, and at this point, it is like I've said 1,000 fucking times before. If you're gonna put the belts on them, just because they've said, oh, it's do or die, or whatever else it is. Cool, in some ways there is that payoff there in that regard, you know what I mean, but again it's like, well, so what, they're going to get the belts, and then what are you going to do with them? There's literally no other tag teams for them to face off against, so it's like, well, what's the point? I keep saying this, and I keep saying it, and I keep saying it, it's just like, what else are you going to do? Yes, you could debut 2 new wrestlers and you have another tag team, but it's just like, even with 3 tag teams, it's like, so what kind of thing, I don't know. So, I don't know, I don't feel like I'm going to change my perspective here on this, because I already feel like we've discussed it. It does make a slight difference to say, they're going to break up, because it is like, well, I think that would be the only thing that would change it, because it is like, well, if they lose, then it's like, well, there is literally no other tag teams for the Elegance brand to challenge. But again, it's like, well, why are you going to let them win when there's no one else for them to challenge as well? So it's like no-win situation, type thing in some way. So I could see Spitfire winning now, I guess, in that regard. But yeah, what's the point of that all? There's not enough point, in my opinion, to continue to book with 2 people in the friggin' division, or 2 teams in the friggin' division, but whatever. But yeah, the idea that this is now a match by elegance, that's fine. I'm not really fussed by that. Now, I don't know, I think we'll start, I don't know why this is on the pre-show or whatever, but we'll take the pre-show match, which I think it's really unfortunate that this is on the pre-show, because these girls have worked really hard, and the story that's between these 2 is really, really good. Then again, I will say that there isn't anything else announced for the pre-show, but then again, they might announce something, or they might put something else on for the pre-show. But I hope that these girls get most of that pre-show time, honestly, because they deserve it. The match is between Rosemary and Zaya Brookside. Of course, I've had the graphic up there for ages, but still haven't said it. So, this has been building for a long time, and maybe it will continue to build. I don't know, because it's just a regular bass ass match. It's not no disqualifications, or it's not, whatever. It's not got any stipulations to it. So you start thinking well, I don't know. I would keep saying this isn't the apex or the end of this story. But the question does become how do you get it from where it is to the next stage, or to the next step, or to somewhere where it, needs to be, sort of thing. So I start saying Slammiversary, Bound for Glory, build it up even more, build it even further, have some sort of good blow-off match of some sort, and then, that's it. So, but, this feud, like I said, so good. You know, like Santana and Ali was really good. That was a really good feud. I think that it might have been blown up a little bit too soon. They should have kept feuding and off and on sort of thing. Yeah, no, you know, it's fine for what it was. And if they want to revisit it, I still think that they can. But yeah, I feel like, you know, it's obvious that Sai's ultimately going to win this feud, in my opinion. But I think she could win this match, you know, or whatever. But I do feel like the result is not as important. It's how they're building the next part of this story, how they're building the next part of this feud. So it doesn't really matter who's winning and what's going on. It's the situations in which follow, you know. So that's perhaps as well why it's on the pre-show. But then again, I still feel like these girls should get a lot of time because, you know, it is that story that it does need a lot of time and, you know, whatnot. So I'd expect a lot more shenanigans either before the match or post-match or whatever else. So I wouldn't mind seeing that. Again, I don't know, like you could start saying, well, let's make a tag match of some sort. Let's bring back, you know, Havoc or bring back somebody, you know, and have Rosemary tag with them and or whatever. You could do that, I don't know. Or you could just like, I don't know, forget about it for a few weeks because they tend to do that. Sometimes with some of these things or whatever, or it feels like they've forgotten about it, sort of thing. I don't know, but whatever. But other than that, there is a match here, which is a match that is I sort of think we've been talking about it for a while now, but it's, I don't know, this is interesting. Order 4, which is Mustafa Ali's faction. We haven't really talked about his faction. We've been mostly talking about him and whatnot as a singles guy and like the good hands and the fact that Tasha Steelz is sort of there. And it's funny because like Tasha's been like, I don't know how injured she was at the end of the match between Santana and Ali, but she's been injured, bro. She was like injured, like, so I'm hoping that she is well enough to compete here, but obviously she wouldn't be competing or whatever. She wouldn't, like, maybe they're going to, you know, order the match in such a way that she doesn't have to do too much, but I think that's fine as well, you know. It's not like she needs to, but then again, you've got another person in this match in Indy Hartwell that's like, well, you're kind of trying to maybe build this feud between them too, so, you know. And the other two competitors thus far announced are the Rascals. So there's going to be a mystery opponent or tag team competitor in this match, along with the Rascals and Indy Hartwell against Order 4. I feel like it's Ace Austin, guys. Come on. Like, Ace Austin has been involved in this feud for a while now, so it feels like it's Ace Austin. You know, I couldn't really guess if it was anyone else, you know, but then again, he might be injured. I don't know, dude. So that might rule him out. I don't know, but it certainly feels like, or it would seem like that would be the most logical kind of answer to the guess who it is moment type thing. You know, you would have to think that it would be him. But then again, like I said, I don't think he's that injured, but I think he's certainly, maybe that is kayfabe, I don't know, you know. So, but it certainly would make sense. It wouldn't really, like, to me, it wouldn't make sense to bring in somebody from NXT just to be like, let's see if people know who this person is, or let's see if we can get a reaction from bringing this person in from NXT. And like, why you've put like the mystery question mark thing over it is like, well, that doesn't make much sense unless you are going to bring somebody in that is outside or whatever. It's not expected in some ways, or it's somebody else wonder if it's freaking X-Pac, but, you know, that would be kind of interesting in some ways, but I don't know, dude. It's sort of like, you know, isn't that dude retired now or whatever, you know, like, does that make any sense? I don't know, dude, you know, so don't tell me that this guy's, you know, going to come back and it's going to be like, you know, unless, like, it is something backstage and they do feel like, oh, it's, you know, it's friggin' Ace Austin, but they attack him or whatever and continue the feud that way or something, you know, instead of it, you know, just being the kind of obvious reveal type thing, and then it's Sean Waltman or somebody else or whatever it is, just because, you know, it is that thing of saying, expect the unexpected, you know, type thing. But yeah, it is like, well, you know, when was Waltman's last match? You know, I don't know, dude. So that's the only other person that I could really think of it being, because he's kind of been involved with the Rascals before, you know, so I don't know, dude. That's the only other person that I can right now think of who it could be. There could be 1,000,001 other answers who it could be, and I don't think that the mystery opponent will change the outcome. You've got this angle right now with Ali and his cabinet. They're kind of going crazy. They're kind of doing all of this stuff. It was funny, like, well, not funny, but it was weird, like a week or two ago when the good hands or the great hands, whatever, finally got like a win on TV against the Rascals. And I was like, dude, what are these jobbers doing getting a win in a match? So it's like, you know, what's going on there? But they're trying to build this new faction kind of up and whatnot. So it's like, well, we've got to give them a win to make them look credible and whatnot, rather than just being like, oh, well, we'll keep jobbing them out and whatnot. You know, here we are trying to build this new faction. But at the same time, it is like, well, here you are with Indy Hartwell, new wrestler, or fairly new wrestler to the company at least, coming in, and they're going to be on that team. So it's like, well, you want to build them too, or at least you want to make them look good, or at least you want to build a feud. So I feel like Order 4 is going to win somehow, some way. Even so, you know, like, but I feel like Indy and that has to sort of, you know, find a way to keep strong in this. So I feel like she's, unless she does get pinned, which will be a bit weird, but in a really underhanded way, I guess, kind of thing, which sort of hints towards that whole, well, Tasha isn't wrestling much because she's injured, or she's somewhat injured, or she's still recovering, or whatever it is, that sort of thing. But again, it does start to feel like, well, if you're, you know, starting to put her in this position, that you're like, well, we know we can get something out of this, you know, within a few months or whatever else it is. This feud's going to continue, and it's might wrap up soon or whatever else it is. But who knows? But still, it is very much like we're going to keep the ball rolling type thing. But again, you know, you're not just saying she lost, boo-hoo, whatever. No, there's got to be more to it. It's got to continue. We've got to see her remain, you know, there and remain strong, at least to some description. But I feel bad for Tasha, because she's going to be put in that position again of having to put somebody over and that sort of thing, because she's been there for a long time in many ways. In many ways, same with Rosemary, but I don't feel so bad, because she's kind of done it all, kind of thing, and in some ways at least, and it feels like she's not greedy and whatnot. I know Tasha might feel a bit more greedy, I guess, but she hasn't really gotten a whole lot of love there and whatnot, I feel like, and she could have been used so much better so many times. And it's just like, you know, I know injuries and other things came up and whatnot as well, and the pandemic and things like that, but again, you know, it's like, well, I kind of feel like she and Giselle Shaw should have been a tag team, even though like the tag team division was really bad. I think their personalities were kind of, you know, similar in some ways, and that I think they would have made a good tag team. You know, but then again, they're both sort of single stars. So I don't know, but still, I still think that they could have made a really cool kind of tag team. But still, I do feel bad for her because she's, you know, like, she's going to be continually, like, she might get some wins here and there against some people, I don't know, somehow along the way to help her wrestle indie. But it's like, you know, again, kind of like, it will be real jobbers, you know, like just people brought in for the sake of it. Like, okay, and maybe like that will turn into something, like later down the road, somebody will say, oh yeah, you know, we want to see you in another role, and we want to see you at another time, you know, because you did a good job or whatever else it was, and all of this, and you were a professional, and yada 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 yada. So I kind of feel like that is, you know, a potential thing later on. But certainly for now, it does feel like, well, now we've got to put up with this kind of thing just to get to here. I know some people don't really look at it that way. And again, that's sort of why sometimes it feels like it's a little bit of a chore or whatever else it is, because it's just like so many things are just like sometimes so predictable in some ways. And it's just like, well, obviously you're not going to, you know, not risk, but you're not going to risk, you know, losing momentum on other people to sort of get somebody else ahead, sort of thing, especially when they've, like, a lot of people have already lost a lot of momentum. So it's like, well, you know, that isn't really that good, you know. And again, a lot of them deserve more, so, but whatever. Anyway, that is it. I don't know if they're going to put anything else up between now and the show, but it's only, I think, 24 hours away anyway, so I don't think we're going to be able to catch it. If I do see something, or we do see something, I'm probably not gonna have the time to, you know, commentate about it or talk about it or whatever else and all this other stuff. So it's probably not going to happen. A bunch of videos that I did, or, you know, episodes that I did do, that haven't gotten out yet, just due to, again, the busy schedule as it is. So yeah, but still, it is, you know, something that we'll continue to do still, even with the busy schedule. Apparently, because sometimes when I get on my walks and things like that, and I have nothing to do but sort of kill time, you know, it's like, well, I might as well podcast. So yeah, that's what happened here as well. But anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this one, and we will be doing the Under Siege review next after this, or at least I will be. I think maybe some of those pre-recorded episodes might go up as well, but, you know, that will be the next major video that's going up, and then we'll be looking at Against All Odds after that, and then moving on to Slamversary and more stuff along the line. So I hope you will join me again in another episode down the line.